The Godfather is widely considered one of the greatest films ever made, not just for its compelling story, but also for the bizarre and strange facts that surround its making. From Marlon Brando's unconventional audition to the chilling real horse head used in one of the film's most infamous scenes, the production of this movie was full of secrets and behind-the-scenes stories that make it even more fascinating. The legacy of The Godfather is not just in its storytelling, but also in the mysteries surrounding its creation. Behind every shot, every line, and every character, there are tales that add an extra layer of intrigue to this iconic film. Marlon Brando, the man who would forever be linked to the role of Vito Corleone, didn't want to audition in the traditional sense. Instead of attending the typical casting session, he decided to make a statement. He sent in a tape of himself reading lines from the script, with cotton balls stuffed in his cheeks to mimic the character's distinctive look and speech. This unconventional approach initially puzzled the studio, but Brando's performance was so compelling, they had no choice but to cast him. Little did they know that Brando's portrayal of the Godfather would become one of the most iconic performances in cinematic history. Brando's voice became an integral part of Corleone's character, and his unique method of achieving that voice added another layer of realism to the role. His role not only shaped The Godfather, but also transformed the way audiences saw mob bosses in cinema. In a particularly disturbing moment in The Godfather, the severed horse head that appears in the bed of Jack Woltz was a real, genuine horse head. The film's production team managed to acquire it from a slaughterhouse, and it was used for the infamous scene where Woltz finds it as a warning. The actors were horrified at the sight, but it became one of the film's most unforgettable moments. The realness of the scene amplified its shock value, and the impact of that horrific image stayed with audiences long after the movie ended. It was a moment that showed just how far the Corleones were willing to go to send a message, and in doing so, it cemented the film's reputation as a brutal portrayal of the Mafia world, VO world. Despite his later fame, Al Pacino, who played Michael Corleone, wasn't the obvious choice for the role when the film was in production. At the time, he wasn't well known and was seen as an unconventional choice, especially given that other actors like Robert Redford and Ryan O'Neal were considered. Coppola, however, was drawn to Pacino's talent and emotional depth, something that would ultimately set the character apart from the others in the story. Pacino's portrayal of Michael started as a young man trying to distance himself from his family's criminal world, only to be pulled deeper into it. What makes his performance even more impressive is the fact that he was reluctant to take on the role in the first place. He almost turned down the part due to the pressures and the lack of confidence others had in him. But as we now know, The Godfather marked a defining moment in his career, and the transformation of Michael Corleone from a war hero to a ruthless mafia boss remains one of the most powerful character arcs in film history. One of the most surprising facts about The Godfather is that the famous line, "I'll make him an offer he can't refuse," wasn't in the script initially. Marlon Brando, ever the improviser, came up with the line on the spot. This improvisation became so iconic that it's now one of the most recognized movie quotes in history. It's a perfect example of how Brando's creativity and influence shaped the film. The line's delivery is not just about the words, but the chilling power behind them. It encapsulates the entire essence of the Corleone family: power through fear and loyalty, and the understanding that there are no true bargains with a man like Vito Corleone. Marlon Brando's refusal to attend the 1973 Academy Awards after winning Best Actor for his portrayal of Vito Corleone is another strange but memorable moment linked to the film. Brando rejected the Oscar as a protest against Hollywood's portrayal of Native Americans. In his place, he sent actress Sacheen Littlefeather, who, in a famous moment, declined the award on his behalf. This act was both bold and controversial, and it added another layer of complexity to Brando's relationship with Hollywood and the public. It also solidified The Godfather's place in film history, not only for its artistry, but also for its ties to cultural and political movements. The impact of The Godfather goes beyond the screen. The film deeply influenced both filmmakers and real-life mafia families. In fact, the portrayal of mafia life in The Godfather was so realistic that some real mafia families in New York were reportedly offended by the film's depiction of their world. Rumor has it that some even issued threats to Coppola and the cast, angry that their operations were being shown so openly. This speaks to the authenticity with which the film portrayed the mafia world. Coppola wanted to make sure the world of the Corleones felt as real as possible, and the effects were far-reaching, even leading to a backlash from the very people who lived it. James Caan, who played the fiery Sonny Corleone, underwent a physical transformation to embody his character. Caan, known for his more lean build, gained weight and bulked up to match Sonny's aggressive, impulsive nature. Sonny's violent temper and eventual tragic death in the film created a powerful emotional impact, and Caan's physicality was part of what made his character so memorable. It also reflected how the Corleones, despite their wealth and power, were still a family defined by emotion, conflict, and ultimately tragedy. The names of the Corleone family members were inspired by real Italian families that Coppola had known, adding an element of realism to the characters. Vito Corleone's name was one of many taken from the families of Coppola's own childhood, which helped ground the film in reality. This connection to real people and real history made the Corleones feel even more authentic and relatable, as though their struggles could be the struggles of any family, albeit one involved in organized crime. In addition to its dark subject matter, The Godfather was groundbreaking in its use of music. The iconic theme song, Speak Softly, Love, composed by Nino Rota, became synonymous with the film. What many don't know, however, is that the theme was almost disqualified from the Academy Awards for being too similar to one of Rota's earlier compositions. Thankfully, after an appeal, the Academy allowed the score to remain eligible, and it went on to become one of the most recognizable film scores ever. As The Godfather became a cultural milestone, it also brought attention to the mafia genre as a whole. The film's success sparked a trend of gangster films throughout the 1970s and beyond, but none ever quite captured the magic of Coppola's masterpiece. The film's impact on pop culture is immeasurable. Its characters, its story, and its unforgettable scenes have become ingrained in the public's consciousness. Quotes like "keep your friends close, but your enemies closer," and "I'll make him an offer he can't refuse," are still commonly used today. The Godfather was not just a film. It became a touchstone for American cinema. Its influence stretched far beyond the world of filmmaking, shaping the way Hollywood approached storytelling, character development, even public relations. But perhaps one of the strangest facts about the film is that it almost didn't happen. There were many obstacles to getting the movie made, including casting concerns, budget issues, and studio resistance to the violent theme. Yet, despite these hurdles, The Godfather became not only a cinematic masterpiece, but also a cultural phenomenon that continues to resonate with audiences and filmmakers alike. The Godfather isn't just a film. It's a world full of dark secrets, power struggles, and family loyalty. The strange and weird facts surrounding its production only add to its mystique, reminding us that behind every legendary film, there's a story that's just as intriguing as what's on screen. Today, nearly half a century later, the legacy of The Godfather lives on, not only as one of the greatest films of all time, but as a lasting influence on the way stories are told in Hollywood. Its timeless themes of loyalty, power, and betrayal will continue to captivate audiences for generations to come.